Imagine standing on a basketball court for the first time, gripping the ball with unsure hands, watching others effortlessly sink shot after shot. It's easy to believe they were just born with it. But here's the truth, while genetics may determine your height or eye color, they don't determine your potential. In fact, studies show that with consistent practice, nearly anyone can master skills that once seemed unattainable. Whether it's music, athletics, or mathematics, your brain is far more moldable than your DNA, and the key lies in your mindset. Psychologist Carol Dweck, author of the influential book Mindset, says it best, "Becoming is better than being." Her research reveals that how we perceive our own ability shapes not only our outcomes but also our resilience and satisfaction in life. At the core of her theory lies a fundamental distinction, the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. One sees talent as static and predetermined. The other? A muscle that grows with use. As the ancient proverb goes, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Growth isn't magic, it's momentum. Think of your mindset like the lens of a camera. A fixed lens stays zoomed in on limitations, I'm just not good at math or I'll never be creative. It locks you into one frame. But a growth mindset works like a wide-angle lens, pulling in new perspectives. It says, I haven't mastered this yet, but I can learn. When we shift this lens, even failures become feedback, and challenges turn into stepping stones. Isn't it time we question how often we mistake limitations for facts? What's even more striking is how this plays out in our relationships and careers. Those with a fixed mindset often expect effortless compatibility or immediate success. But what happens when things get hard? They tend to retreat, blame, or give up. In contrast, a growth-oriented person sees tension not as a threat but as a chance to evolve, both in love and in leadership. So ask yourself, do you treat talent as a gift, or as a garden? If you're ready to rewrite your own internal script, here's your call to action: start speaking the language of yet. Instead of I can't, try I haven't, yet. Reframe failure as information. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Whether you're aiming to build confidence at work, strengthen your relationships, or unlock hidden talents, know this: growth is a choice. And every choice builds the life you're capable of living. About the author. Carol Dweck is a renowned psychology professor at Stanford University, best known for her groundbreaking research on motivation and personality. In addition to her influential book Mindset, she has authored other notable works including Self-Theories, Their Role in Motivation, Personality, and Development, and co-edited the Handbook of Competence and Motivation. Her work continues to shape how we understand personal growth, learning, and human potential. Key Takeaway 1. Why fixed mindset is sabotaging your potential, how to break free and grow. Imagine you're a fresh graduate hired by a top-tier company like Enron or McKinsey. You're told you're exceptional, a natural. No time for training. No room for error. Now, imagine every misstep you make is interpreted not as a learning opportunity, but as a red flag that maybe you're not as smart as they thought. This high-stakes environment isn't hypothetical, it's a product of a fixed mindset, a belief system that sees talent as static and unchangeable. In today's hyper-competitive world, this mindset can quietly kill innovation, suppress growth, and drain morale. Psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck, a pioneer in motivation science, reveals in her landmark research that people with fixed mindsets believe abilities are carved in stone. Quoting her work, she says, "Becoming is better than being." But fixed thinkers don't believe in becoming, they believe you either are or aren't. This mindset infiltrates corporate culture when companies prioritize hiring naturals over nurturing talent. Without training or support, these high performers face constant judgment. One mistake isn't a step in a journey, it's a sentence on their potential. Think of mindset as a lens through which we interpret success and failure. A fixed mindset sees ability like eye color, innate, inherited, unchangeable. Like trying to run a marathon with a heavy backpack, individuals in this mental state constantly carry the weight of proving their worth rather than improving their skills. They equate performance with identity. If you fail, it's not that your strategy was off, it's that you're just not cut out for it. Sound familiar? What if our entire culture is reinforcing this fixed mindset? What happens to innovation when employees are terrified to make mistakes? How can you grow if you're too busy seeking approval instead of feedback? Fixed mindset thinking is like building a skyscraper with no foundation, flashy at first, but destined to collapse under pressure. And yet, how often do we chase the illusion of natural talent, instead of committing to the slow, uncomfortable, transformative process of learning? Here's the truth: your abilities are not set in stone. The next chapter in your life, or your team's culture, begins by embracing a growth mindset. Start seeing setbacks as stepping stones. Seek progress, not perfection. And remember, as Dweck wisely says, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. Let go of the myth of innate genius. Build your mindset like a muscle, stretch it, challenge it, nurture it. Don't just show the world who you are, show them who you're becoming. Key takeaway 2. Why a growth mindset unlocks limitless potential, especially in kids. Imagine two students facing the same challenging math problem. One frowns, frustrated, and gives up. The other leans in with excitement, eager to solve it, and asks for more problems to take home. What's the difference? Not intelligence. Not talent. It's mindset. Studies show that children with a growth mindset don't just endure challenges, they seek them. According to Stanford psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. This mindset difference isn't just academic, it's a defining factor in lifelong success. Decades of research now support the fact that intelligence is not fixed. Kids who believe they can grow their abilities through effort, strategy, and feedback tend to outperform those who think talent is everything. In her groundbreaking work, Dr. Dweck observed that children with growth mindsets thrive on challenge and see failure not as evidence of unintelligence but as a heartening springboard for growth. These students aren't chasing top grades for bragging rights, they're chasing mastery, motivated by the joy of improvement and the journey of learning. Think of a child with a growth mindset like an athlete in training. They're not measuring themselves by medals today, they're focused on the reps, the practice, the personal bests. Whether it's writing poetry, shooting hoops, or learning violin, they know skills are earned, not endowed. And when failure shows up, it's treated like a coach, not an enemy. This mindset isn't just for school. It shows up on playgrounds, at family dinner tables, and in future boardrooms. So, here's the real question: what would happen if we nurtured this mindset in every child? What if every classroom, home, and workplace embraced the belief that growth is always possible? How would our relationships evolve if, instead of proving we're good enough, we focused on getting better together? Growth-minded individuals lift those around them. In relationships, they encourage their partner's self-discovery. In sports, they play for the team. In leadership, they seek out honest feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. This is more than theory, it's a call to rethink how we define success. Let's raise learners who value progress over perfection. Leaders who ask for feedback. Teams that celebrate effort, not just outcome. As Dr. Dweck reminds us, becoming is better than being. So ask yourself, where can I stretch, grow, and fail forward today? Because in a world of constant change, your mindset may be your most powerful tool for personal development, emotional intelligence, and lifelong learning. Embrace the challenge, your potential is limitless. Key takeaway 3. Approval versus growth: why mindset made or broke these legendary CEOs. What happens when a leader turns a failing company around, only to later become the reason it stagnates again? That's exactly what happened to Lee Iacocca, former CEO of Chrysler Motors. At first, he was the hero, making bold decisions, lifting morale, and saving a crumbling enterprise. But soon after the success, his leadership took a sharp turn. He became more concerned with appearances than performance, investing in his image over the company's future. Sound familiar? This isn't just a leadership flaw, it's the hallmark of a fixed mindset, and it's more common than we'd like to admit. According to renowned psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck, people with a fixed mindset believe that success is about proving you're smart or talented. People with a growth mindset believe that success is about learning and growing. Iacocca's story offers a textbook case of the former. Obsessed with being seen as a winner, he feared failure and shunned improvement. Every situation became a test to validate his worth, leaving little room for real progress. In contrast, growth-minded leaders embrace challenges as stepping stones, not threats to their reputation. Now contrast Iacocca with Lou Gerstner, the CEO who rescued IBM from internal collapse. When he arrived, IBM was bogged down by office politics, rigid hierarchies, and ego battles, classic symptoms of a fixed mindset culture. Rather than flaunting his authority, Gerstner flattened the hierarchy, encouraged teamwork, and rewarded collaboration over competition. Think of it like a conductor shifting an orchestra from solo acts to a symphony. The music changed, and so did the results. IBM didn't just survive, it flourished. So ask yourself, are you seeking approval, or are you seeking growth? Do you feel the need to prove yourself in every meeting, or are you open to feedback, even when it's tough to hear? In leadership, In careers, and even in relationships, the difference between fixed and growth mindsets can shape everything. When you believe your abilities are set in stone, you spend your energy protecting your image. But if you believe you can grow, every challenge becomes a chance to evolve. Which path are you on? The choice is yours, and it begins now. Whether you're leading a team, building a business, or striving for personal mastery, adopt a growth mindset. Cultivate humility. Encourage development over perfection. As Dweck reminds us, becoming is better than being. Don't be the leader who craves applause, be the one who creates lasting change. Your success, and your legacy, will be measured not by how you looked at the top, but by how many people you lifted on the way up. Key takeaway 4. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset, why Michael Jordan soared while others crumbled. Imagine losing the final shot in a game watched by millions. For some, that's the end of the road. For others, it's just the beginning. Take goal for Sergio Garcia, who famously threw his shoes at a bystander after a bad round. In moments of failure, people with a fixed mindset often lash out at others, at their tools, or at themselves, because they believe one loss defines them forever. That single setback doesn't just sting, it rewrites their entire story. But is failure really proof that you're not good enough? Or could it be an invitation to grow? Psychologist and Stanford professor Carol Dweck, author of Mindset, highlights the key difference between successful and stagnant individuals. She writes, in a fixed mindset, failures label you. In a growth mindset, failures are just part of the learning process. Garcia's emotional outbursts were more than just bad sportsmanship, they were signs of a belief system rooted in fear of judgment and the need to prove talent constantly. On the other hand, champions like Michael Jordan show us how growth is born through persistence, not perfection. Think about it this way, people with a fixed mindset see their abilities as carved in stone. If they fail once, it confirms their worst fear, that they're not good enough, and never will be. So they protect their ego by blaming others, avoiding challenges, or giving up entirely. They don't ask for help, don't study their mistakes, and certainly don't practice harder. In contrast, those with a growth mindset view themselves as a work in progress, not a finished product. They seek feedback, analyze failures, and believe effort leads to mastery. So what do you do when you fail? Do you hide, make excuses, or lash out, or do you ask, what can I learn from this? Consider this, Michael Jordan missed over 9,000 shots in his career and lost over 300 games. But he famously said, I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. The difference lies not in the failure itself, but in the response. What mindset are you operating from, fear of failure, or hunger to grow? Let Jordan be your reminder, failure isn't fatal, it's feedback. If you want to transform setbacks into comebacks, start embracing a growth mindset. Practice what didn't work. Ask for guidance. Push through discomfort. As Dweck reminds us, becoming is better than being. Don't aim to look perfect, aim to improve. Because your potential isn't a fixed number, it's a moving target, and every challenge is a chance to hit closer to the bullseye. Key takeaway 5. Why struggle is your superpower. Lessons from Nadia Salerno and Christopher Reeve. What would you do if you were told you'd never walk again? Most people would give up, but Christopher Reeve, the actor famous for playing Superman, chose to fight back. After a spinal cord injury left him paralyzed from the neck down, doctors predicted he'd never regain movement. Yet, through relentless effort and belief, Reeve shocked the world by eventually moving his hands, legs, and even his upper body. His story isn't just one of medical defiance, it's the perfect embodiment of a growth mindset, where effort is power and limits are made to be tested. Psychologist Carol Dweck, author of Mindset, explains, in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses, you say, wow, here's a chance to grow. That's the very mindset Reeve embraced. In contrast, people with a fixed mindset see effort as proof they're not naturally talented. For them, the fear of failure outweighs the joy of progress. So instead of stepping up, they step back, avoiding challenges, making excuses, and protecting a fragile self-image. Take violinist Nadia Salerno-Sonnenberg, a prodigy by age 10. But by 18, her fear of making mistakes had taken over. She held her violin incorrectly, played stiffly, and eventually stopped bringing her instrument to lessons altogether. Why? Because for someone with a fixed mindset, failure is identity-shattering. They think, if I try and fail, it means I was never good enough to begin with. So they avoid effort entirely, failing not because they can't, but because they won't risk being found out. How often do we do the same? How many dreams are buried under the weight of fear and pride? The growth mindset dares to ask, what if effort is exactly what proves your worth, not talent alone? People like 𝐒𝐲 show us that impossible doesn't mean permanent. When you're facing a challenge, do you shrink back to protect your ego, or step forward to expand your potential? Remember, growth comes through tension, not comfort. If you take just one thing away today, let it be this: your limitations are not fixed, they're flexible. Effort is not something to hide, it's something to honor. Like 𝐒𝐲, dare to defy the odds. Like Nadia, learn that talent without growth is wasted potential. Life's challenges are not barriers, they are invitations to become who you were meant to be. So lean into discomfort, take the risk, and choose progress over perfection. Because with a growth mindset, nothing, absolutely nothing, is out of reach. Key takeaway 6. You're not born fixed. How parents and teachers shape your mindset. Ever wonder why two children raised in the same classroom can take such wildly different paths in life? Research shows that babies are born with a growth mindset, an instinct to learn, explore, and grow. But somewhere along the way, many lose that fire. Why? Because the people around them, parents, teachers, role models, shape their beliefs about potential. According to psychologist Carol Dweck, our mindset isn't just a personal choice, it's a product of our early environment. Dweck's groundbreaking work on mindset development reveals how adults' attitudes can either fuel a child's drive or slowly shut it down. She writes, "Every word and action can send a message. It tells children how to think about themselves. Parents who praise effort and perseverance cultivate resilience. But those who judge, label, or criticize create fear, causing kids to believe abilities are static." In essence, mindset begins at home, long before children set foot in a school. Take a toddler who tries to stack blocks and fails. A parent with a growth mindset says, "Keep going, you're learning." But a fixed mindset parent might frown, saying, "Maybe building isn't your thing." That difference echoes for years. Studies even show that babies as young as 1-year-old already display early mindset traits. Some comfort crying peers, while others turn away in frustration. These tiny reactions hint at much bigger beliefs forming in the background. So ask yourself, what messages are we sending with our words, our feedback, our expectations? Teachers, too, play a pivotal role. Those who believe intelligence is fixed treat students accordingly, rewarding the gifted while giving up on the rest. But great educators, the ones who believe any student can improve, unlock untapped potential. By modeling patience, offering multiple ways to solve problems, and celebrating progress, not just results, they help students rewrite their self-image. The truth? Mindset isn't destiny, it's taught. And if it can be taught, it can be changed. Whether you're a parent, teacher, or simply someone trying to unlearn old beliefs, remember, your words carry weight. Choose to model growth. Encourage learning. Challenge the labels. Because the next generation, and even your own future, depends on what mindset you nurture. Let's stop treading water and start teaching ourselves, and others, to swim toward our full potential. Key takeaway 7. You're not stuck. Train your brain to think differently. Imagine you drop a plate on the floor. Without thinking, you blurt out, "I'm such a klutz." That knee-jerk reaction might feel harmless, but it reveals something deeper, a fixed mindset at work. While it's easy to believe our personalities are set in stone, science tells a different story. Your brain is not a finished product, it's a muscle. And like any muscle, it can grow with training, repetition, and care. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, a pioneer in mindset theory, emphasizes that becoming is better than being. In other words, you don't need to stay stuck in old thinking patterns. Whether you've labeled yourself as bad at sports, shy in groups, or hopeless with money, those are not life sentences. With conscious effort and supportive feedback, you can reframe your reactions and rewrite your story one belief at a time. Think of your mindset like your dominant hand. You use it automatically. But if you started using your non-dominant hand every day, even for simple tasks, you'd build strength and skill over time. Similarly, training your brain toward a growth mindset means catching fixed thoughts when they arise and gently redirecting them. Instead of "I failed again," you learn to say, "That's a step toward learning." Over time, that shift changes how you see yourself, others, and what's possible. But let's be honest, why would anyone cling to a fixed mindset if it holds them back? The answer is emotional safety. Fixed beliefs can offer comfort, predictability, and even praise from others. They shield us from vulnerability by making excuses before effort is required. But what if letting go of that shield is the very thing standing between you and your next breakthrough? You don't have to overhaul your entire identity overnight. Start small. Pick one area of your life, maybe at work or in relationships, and practice adopting a growth-oriented belief system there. Watch how your confidence evolves and opportunities expand. Remember, you're not stuck, you're learning. The power to change how you think is already inside you. And every time you choose growth over comfort, you're unlocking a more empowered version of yourself. In summary, what truly separates those who thrive from those who stall isn't talent or intelligence, it's mindset. In her groundbreaking book Mindset, Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck reveals that success hinges less on what we're born with and more on how we think about our abilities. The key difference? Some people believe their traits are fixed and unchangeable, while others embrace growth and see challenges as stepping stones. This insight reshapes how we view learning, failure, relationships, and personal potential. At the core of Dweck's work is the distinction between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe their intelligence and talents are static. If you're not born good at something, you'll never be. They avoid failure, fear judgment, and constantly seek validation. On the other hand, those with a growth mindset understand that effort and perseverance are what fuel improvement. They view setbacks as opportunities to learn, adapt, and evolve. Dweck highlights the damaging impact of a fixed mindset in high-pressure environments. For example, companies that glorify innate genius, like Enron, crumble when they overlook the need for growth, training, and adaptability. When employees feel they must always prove themselves, innovation dies. In contrast, businesses that foster a growth mindset, like IBM under Lou Gerstner, flourish by promoting collaboration, development, and openness to learning from mistakes. The mindset we adopt starts young. Children praised for being smart often develop a fixed mindset, fearing failure as a threat to their identity. Meanwhile, kids praised for their effort become resilient learners who embrace challenges. A difficult math problem doesn't scare them, it excites them. They learn to persist, explore, and grow, not to avoid the discomfort of being wrong. Mindset, it turns out, is more important than IQ in determining long-term success. Stories of athletes like Michael Jordan, who turned failures into fuel, or actor Christopher Reeve, who defied the odds after a life-changing injury, illuminate the power of believing in the possibility of change. These individuals exemplify the growth mindset in action, a relentless pursuit of betterment, driven by grit, self-belief, and learning from mistakes, not despite them, but because of them. Dweck also explores how our mindset affects our relationships. People with a fixed mindset believe love should be effortless, and conflict means something is broken. Those with a growth mindset understand that relationships, like skills, require work, communication, and shared growth. They support their partners, value feedback, and are willing to evolve together through both highs and lows. The good news? You're not stuck with one mindset forever. Dweck emphasizes that anyone can learn to adopt a growth mindset. It starts with awareness, catching yourself when you fall into black and white thinking and choosing to reframe it. Instead of "I'm not good at this," try "I'm not good at this yet." This subtle shift can spark a lifetime of possibility. And you don't have to change everything at once, just start with one area of your life and watch it ripple outward. Let this book be your personal permission slip to stop proving, and start improving. Whether you're a student, parent, leader, or simply someone craving growth, Mindset offers a toolkit for unleashing your potential. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread the power of the growth mindset. And if no one told you lately, remember this: you are loved, you are worthy, and you are spectacularly capable of achieving extraordinary goals.